Welcome to the MCTV Weekly News Update. I'm Lindsey.
And I'm Patrick Mullen. We've got a lot in store, so let's jump into our top story. Early Sunday morning, a married couple from Brooklyn was killed when a BMW slammed into the taxi they were riding in. The mother was pregnant at the time, deciding to go to the hospital after reportedly not feeling well. Thankfully, the baby was delivered by C-section from the mother's dead body, but the child died just one day after. The occupants of the car that destroyed the taxi fled the scene on foot and have yet to be taken into custody. Isaac Abraham, a resident of the community where the couple lived, has strong feelings about the suspect, claiming, quote, "We are looking at the prosecutor. We want the people responsible charged with triple homicide and nothing less." A cousin of one of the victims is devastated. The husband and wife were both 21 years old at the time of the accident.
On a lighter note, according to CNN, this past Thursday, the Obama administration formally expressed support for same-sex marriage in a court brief on California's Proposition 8, which currently bans same-sex marriage in that state. This marks a major change for Obama's original position that he could only support civil unions for same-sex couples in 2008. The Obama administration was joined by at least 100 high-profile Republicans who also signed the brief supporting same-sex marriage. According to a Pew Research poll, public opinion rests at 48% of Americans in support of same-sex marriage, while only 43% oppose it. Craig Zimmerman, professor at Hobart and William Smith Colleges, says the administration is smart to get on the right side of the issue, saying, quote, "There is no doubt President Obama's shifting position on Proposition 8 and same-sex marriage more broadly is due to his desire to situate himself on the right side of history with respect to the fight over same-sex marriage." Weatherman also stated, quote, "I also think that broader changes in public opinion showing greater support for same-sex marriage, especially among young people, but in the country at large as well, has created a cultural context for Obama to alter his views. Republican support for same-sex marriage is increasingly slowly, with 25% of conservatives supporting same-sex marriage. Although at odds with the party's platform, the Republican support on the brief as well as that of the White House gives same-sex marriage proponents the feeling that the winds of history are blowing in their favor." So Patrick, what do you think about that?
I definitely think it's something big and it's coming. A lot of people are talking about it, and majority of the states are actually considered it already. So I don't see a problem.
I definitely agree. I mean, this is modern times, and I think we need change. It's that kind of everyone's in love, But with that said, Caitlyn Flynn has the weather of the highs and lows. Caitlyn?
Thanks, Lindsey. After ending February on a very cold note, March is finally here. And you know what they say about March? It comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. The weather for this coming week is certainly no exception. Although we will see a steady increase in temperature throughout the week, heavy winds are about to blow our way. Tonight, expect winds around 10 miles per hour, but tomorrow, wind speeds will reach up to 17 miles per hour, and Thursday up to 22 miles per hour. Move over Chicago, Poughkeepsie is claiming the Windy City title this week. Although we saw temperatures in the upper 40s early today, tonight's forecast calls for a low of 30 degrees. So if you're heading out tonight, don't forget your heavy jacket. Tomorrow will be cloudy with a high of 45, and Thursday calls for a partly cloudy day with a high of 47. Warmer weather is headed our way for this weekend into Monday, with highs over 50 for all 3 days. These are relatively average temperatures for March, and a sure sign that spring is on its way in New York. Taking a look at the national weather forecast, tonight, Winter Storm Saturn will enter Virginia and move its way into southern Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and southern New Jersey. Snow accumulation could exceed 6 inches through Wednesday night. This storm hit the Midwest region this past weekend, leaving some areas in North and South Dakota with over a foot of snow. The Southeast is experiencing unseasonably cold temperatures this time of year, with averages only reaching the high 30s and low 40s. Weather in the West is very quiet for this coming week, and Southern California and Arizona are expected to see highs in the low 80s this week. Well, that's all I have for you for this week. With the weekly highs and lows report, I'm Caitlyn Flynn.
While Poughkeepsie has high hopes for warmer weather, one Georgia girl is hoping for something even greater, a new chance at life. A girl from Savannah, Georgia, has endured more than 40 surgeries after she was hit by a car last fall. She lost part of her leg in the accident. Meredith Lay reports somehow the girl had kept her sunny disposition and upbeat nature during her journey to recovery.
I like smiling because it attracts people. like to say nice things to people.
And I was told that you did a lot of that while you were up in Atlanta.
My mommy said I was born like that.
For most of us, it would be hard to smile in a situation like Brianna's, but even at 10 years old, she knows she's blessed beyond belief.
I got my family. My family take care of me because they love me.
Her mom, Tamika, has been by her side for every doctor's appointment and every surgery, but little Brianna was more concerned about the other children in the hospital.
They had her talking to other children, had her seeing other children. She helped me hold on all that time at the hospital.
While the hospital in Atlanta, where Brianna spent the last 5 months, is in the past, the work continues. Not fazed by her condition, she faces the challenge head on.
I feel happy because I can move around better.
Yeah?
And that way, if I keep on walking, when I have my prosthetic, it'll be easier. And if I sit my little honey in that wheelchair all the time, I can't walk.
But you want to walk?
Yes, so if I be able to walk now, it'll be easier for me to walk then.
Brianna and her mom think a lot about the future and what it has in store.
I want to go to the pool, and I want to go back to the beach. I want to still have a job that can help anyone.
With what is supposed to be her last surgery scheduled for this month, Tamika sees progress, but it's hard not to remember how they got here in the first place.
As far as the justice system, there's really nothing that happened with that at all.
It doesn't seem good enough.
It doesn't, but I realized that we did have to move past that in order to move forward.
And forward is the only way Brianna knows to go.
I'm a quarter minute. Quarter minutes can do anything. I've had 42 surgeries.
That's a lot of surgeries.
And I've made it through all of them.
That is truly an amazing story.
It really is. It's inspiring.
Do you believe it? I mean, a girl with a second chance at life is just, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is. I'm glad that she got the extra chance. So. In international news this week, the United Kingdom is fighting its food waste, food that may not make it to the supermarket, even though it's perfectly fine to eat. One group has launched a campaign called Feeding 5,000. CNN's Aaron McLaughlin shows us their solution.
Vegetables lie rotting in an English field. It's not bad weather that's done it. It's not insects or pests that have made it inedible. The farmers in charge of this field say they had to reject all of this cabbage because it didn't look right.
Here we have, look at that. A couple of weeks ago, that was a beautiful head of broccoli. Lovely sprouting broccoli. It's one of my favourite vegetables. And as you can see, we have half an acre of rotten broccoli here. It breaks my heart.
Tristram Stewart and his team collect food that would otherwise go to waste. They're here to salvage what's left of the cabbages.
You can see these outer leaves have been pecked by pigeons. That means that the supermarkets don't want them. Even though no one eats these outer leaves, and the heart of this cabbage is perfectly good, fresh, delicious, nutritious food.
According to a new study, up to 30% of the UK's vegetable crop never leaves the field as a result of such practices. But it doesn't have to be this way. Here at the People's Supermarket in central London, Chef Arthur Potts Dawson sees beyond imperfection.
The People's Supermarket accepts produce from the field that would have otherwise gone to waste.
Well, we actively went out and sought it. You know, we really looked for it. I'd go into the field and they'd be, you know, pulling out tons and tons of potatoes every hour, but there was a byproduct, about 30% of it misshapen, you know, a little bit crushed. It was just discarded. I said, well, what are you doing with those? And they said, no, you want them? I said, no, I don't just want them. I will pay you for them.
The result, a colorful array of vegetables, imperfect avocado, kale, and artichoke.
How has the consumer responded? Do people come in here? Do they notice some of these imperfections? And do they buy?
People have already been trained by decades of supermarkets now to only, you know, buy the perfect, you know, the perfect leek, okay? But the unperfect leek, if they don't buy it, I'll take it.
And they practice what they preach here. There's a full kitchen at the back of the supermarket, complete with a chef who uses the produce customers don't buy to create ready-made meals to be sold in store. Proof that looks don't necessarily matter when it comes to making delicious food. Aaron McLaughlin, CNN, London.
Sticking to international news, protesters are taking the streets ahead of National People's Congress in China. CNN's Stephen Jiang went to one demonstration in Beijing and found out why some frustrated citizens are demanding change.
So this is one of those protests you have seen increasingly happening in China. By some government think tank scholars estimate there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of so-called mass incidents that include protests, riots, or any other forms of confrontation happening in this country over an increasingly wider array of issues: environmental rights, official corruption, and more importantly, social injustice, like what these people are here for. They're migrant workers. Their children have lived here for sometimes their entire lives, but they're still ineligible for equal education opportunities. One parent was just telling me she has lived and worked for years, but her child is still being discriminated against at school, and he is still not eligible to take part in the very important college entrance examinations that would decide a child's fate in this country.
We're all Chinese citizens. Why are kids not treated equally as those with Beijing permanent residency? We live and work here and pay the taxes as well.
So they are here to make their voices heard, air their grievances, and hope officials, including top leaders like Xi Jinping, will do something about it, especially ahead of the National People's Congress session just about to open in a few days. Stephen Zhang, CNN, Beijing.
Heading back to our neck of the woods, brand new details are emerging about one of America's favorite dance shows. The Dancing with the Stars cast of the 6th season was revealed exclusively on ABC's Good Morning America last Thursday. The celebrities competing for the Mirror Ball Trophy this year ranged from Super Bowl champion Jacoby Jones to Real Housewives star Lisa Vanderpump and everyone in between. Contestants Wyona Jude spoke lightheartedly about deciding to join the show, joking that, quote, "They've asked me for 6 years, and now I'm trying to get back to my original weight of 8 pounds, 15 ounces. She also said that, quote, "It's the year of doing things that I'm scared to death." Other big names, including Olympic gymnast Ali Raisman, country star Kelly Pickler, and a boxer Victor Ortiz. With a cast list like this, it is sure to be an exciting year for the show. The 16 seasons for the Dancing with the Stars premieres Monday, March 18th at 8 o'clock p.m. on ABC, with the results the following night at 9.
While those celebrities enjoyed their spotlight, a few others got caught in a situation that was not exactly uplifting. Here with that and more is Carla Zeus in Your Hollywood Minute.
Three cast members of Modern Family experienced some real-life drama in Kansas City, Missouri. KCTV reports Julie Bowen, Eric Stonestreet, and Jesse Tyler Ferguson were trapped for about an hour in a crowded hotel elevator. They were among 15 passengers who had to be rescued by the Kansas City Fire Department. They later joked about the incident on Twitter and even posted a video.
Get us out.
Get us out. Kansas City is Stonestreet's hometown, and the trio was appearing at a fundraiser there. The actors took the stage late, but when they did, they praised the fire department. Jack the Giant Slayer killed the competition at the movies this weekend. The film, based on the famous Beanstalk fairy tale, topped the box office with $28 million in ticket sales, but it was a disappointing debut for a film that cost about $190 million to make. Identity Thief, starring Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy, came in second, grossing $9.7 million in its 4th weekend in theaters, and the R-rated comedy 21 and Over rounded out the top 3 with $9 million in ticket sales in its debut weekend. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Carl Azus.
Wouldn't you think that social media, they can thank that? Honestly.
I know, really just tweet, "I'm stuck in an elevator." That's why I really don't like elevators. I'm more for the stairs. I like the exercise.
I'd take the elevator. I'd rather not walk up the stairs. Teenagers aren't children. They aren't quite adults either. And raising them to become responsible, resilient people takes imagination and know-how. Susan Hendricks has more in today's Health Minute.
Scenes like this
From the film Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules, making a laugh, but to a parent of teens, they're sobering.
I can't believe that you had a party.
How do you raise well-adjusted teens? It all starts with a little knowledge.
The teen brain is not completely developed, particularly in the frontal lobe of the brain.
That's the part that has to do with decision-making, anticipating consequences, and putting the brakes on risky behavior. So parents sometimes need to apply the brakes.
We have to be willing to set some limits. Teenagers make bad decisions at times, and we need to set some guardrails up.
And instill a sense of responsibility by assigning chores and other odd jobs. And though it may be scary, we sometimes need to let our children fail.
No one develops the muscle of resilience unless they go through some difficult experiences.
It's part of growing up and growing into who they are.
We cannot be the architect of who they are. They are their own person, and we need to allow that to happen.
And he reminds us, children don't need perfect parents. They need parents who love them and are involved in their lives. For today's Health Minute, I'm Susan Hendricks.
With parents around the country taking care of their kids and working hard, it's not easy to find time to save. But if you're looking to put more money in your wallet, look no further than the smartphone in your pocket. Karen Cafu grounds up the apps to save cash from the supermarket.
Put a smartphone to work and put more money in the bank. That's the premise behind mobile apps that make saving dollars as simple as a click, swipe, or scan. Slash the cash you spend on out-of-network ATM fees by using an app like ATM Hunter. The app, developed by MasterCard for Apple, Android, and Windows phones, finds the closest ATMs with information on the associated bank and can search by features like drive-through, 24-hour service, and surcharges. Before heading to the supermarket, check out an app like Grocery IQ by Coupons.com for Apple and Android, which allows grocery shoppers to search for coupons on the go. The SnipSnap app lets users scan printed coupons for discounts ranging from the supermarket to the mall to restaurants and save them in a digital format in a smartphone. The app can remind consumers when certain coupons are about to expire and send alerts when in a store that has a corresponding coupon. In recent weeks, I've seen a pinch at the pump. Leave the car in the driveway and tap into a network of other cost-conscious drivers with an app like Carticipate for iPhone. It matches carpoolers based on schedule, destination, and location. I'm Karen Kepa, and you're now clicked in.
It's not every day you hear a story like this. Firefighters know how to handle cats stuck in trees, but what about a raccoon stuck in a can? It happened in Florida, and firefighters were able to come up with a fix. Blake Burden has a video of the rescue.
Not your everyday emergency for a group of Coral Springs firefighters.
They take a look at me and they're kind of like, do you have something to do with this? And I was laughing and I said, what are you talking about?
Dropped off outside their fire station, this guy, a raccoon in a box, his head stuck in a can.
His head was wedged. I mean, it almost looked like it would have had to be a gag because you never would have anticipated that the raccoon could have gotten his head in the can.
Attached to the wild animal, a note reading, quote, please help. I was in the dumpster and got a soup can stuck on my head. It won't come off. Please help me. It was signed, thank you, Rock. Those firefighters had just finished their shift and were on the way out of the door when the problem became theirs.
We opened up the bag. I put my gloves on and coat on. I went and got a pair of tin snips, made a couple cuts, and he wasn't very happy about it.
Crowded by coworkers, firefighter and paramedic Jason Black went in for the delicate rescue, trying to safely cut the can off the raccoon's head without actually hurting the furry guy. The raccoon appeared relatively calm considering the headache he likely had, but began to get a bit impatient.
It was that tight. Just so we're clear, it pretty much was that tight.
After more than a minute, the raccoon snipped free, and before firefighters could blink, he bolted, running under a car, then bolted on to his next place of mischief.
He looked like he was running for his life. If you see the video, he ran underneath one of our guys' cars who had an open door, and he was afraid he was going to jump in his car. Thankfully, he didn't.
Now, Lindsey, before we get into this, I'd really like to know who really called this in, honestly.
I mean, if I just looked out the window and saw like a raccoon, like its head in like a SpaghettiOs can, I don't know what I'd do.
I guess call the fire department.
It's, you know, you wonder like, how does that happen? The poor guy's head stuck.
I totally agree.
Our last story for tonight deals with an online shopping shock. American-based T-shirt company Solid Gold Bomb was under fire from Twitter fans from this past weekend for advertising a shirt on Amazon UK that promotes violence against women. The T-shirt, fashioned after the classic "Keep Calm and Carry On" slogan, read, quote, "Keep calm and hit her," alongside another that said, quote, "Rape on." Solid Gold Bomb removed the shirts from the website immediately after they were discovered. Founder Michael Fowler claimed that, quote, "We simply do not produce poor humor or offensive products. Had these items ever sold, we would have immediately pulled the series and are doing so on our own." According to blogger Pete Ashton, the shirt was never actually printed. The offensive statements were the result of company computer software that randomly generates phrases that fit the original slogan. Ashton blames the situation on the Solid Gold Bomb used, but due to the fast-paced nature of social media, the damage is already done. That makes me sick, honestly. Like,
well, so you're saying that if a computer generator is going to put up something like that, that should be scary. You should watch out for that.
That is, let me tell you, I am a hardcore feminist, and that is so wrong. Hit her?
I understand.
That is. Well, that looks like that's all we have for you tonight. Be sure to stop by next week. Until then, I'm Lindsey Clark.
And I'm Patrick Mullen. Thanks for stopping by.